Hey guys, today's Saturday, December the 16th of 2023. I want to go over natural gas. I don't know what to call this video. Maybe recap, maybe, you know, and I don't even know. I'm going to do a couple of parts, part one, part two, but I'm just gonna kind of wing it, just kind of show you what I'm seeing, and we'll take it from there. So, as a title, I haven't thought of it yet, but I'm just kind of gonna flow with it, and just kind of show you, some things. Maybe it could be educational, maybe a couple of things I'm seeing. So let's backtrack. And this video might be long, it might be short. I don't know. So whatever happens, happens. So let's start off with our range. Let's just get some data points. We know on August 23rd, we made a high of 1002, right? It looks like an ABC, maybe, wave 5, 5 waves here. And we got a low here of February the 22nd, which is, kind of important data point. And then April the 14th, which is really was 194. Yep, 194. And from here, which kind of looks like a fail new low, it just started just grinding sideways, just back and forth. This is a daily chart. So you can see it's just a lot of buy and sell, just kind of sideways. And then it kind of does a leg higher. And then somewhere around October the 27th, or the high was at October the 27th. So pretty much the last week, you could say maybe the 31st. Then from there, everything has been going downhill. And as of right now, December the 13th is finding some kind of low. So as long as you know August 22nd, 23rd, at 23rd, you could deal with maybe February. I'm kind of leaning more with April. Low 194. And October, like the last week, October 31st. October 31st, April 14th, and August 23rd. Those are your dates, those are your ranges, and that's where things just kind of changed and transition as of right now. Okay, so seasonality wise on nat gas, no data on December, but we can see using a 5-year that November is very weak and August is pretty strong. So remember August 23rd, $10.02 high. That makes sense within a 5-year. So August is always strong. Remember that. September, October, strong, but not as strong as August. November weak. October. Remember October? 27, 28, 31st high. That just happened now, around $3.60 something cents. And then it just started going down. April. Remember April? April 14th low, $1.94. This looks like it's more like an inverse. Normally Aprils are strong, but we came from a high of August 23rd of $10.02 and went down all the way to April. But April is a high too. So what we got here was a high going into an inverse low, and then from here, kind of just grinding sideways to higher, and then around October, hitting that high on the 27th, 31st last week, and then going down. And that's using a 5-year. So just kind of just showing you these things so you can kind of grasp it. Let's go to a 10-year. Let's just look at the data points stretched out. August, same thing. August 23rd high, $10.02. October, November, kind of flat. So could be possible highs. And then December, obviously weak. What month we're in? December. Do you want to buy in December? I don't know. Just be, just be cautious. December, very weak. April, strong. and we made a low in April, inverse. And then all these months are just kind of weak. Notice February. Let's go back to 5 year. What did we notice? March, very weak. We don't have that on December, but we know December is weak. And we know November is weak. So from November 1st of this year, we just started crashing down. So remember March, very, very weak within a 5-year seasonality. Let's go to 10 years. February, very weak. So now you know February and March are very weak. Meaning, that there could be a probability that if you wanted to get the best discount, February and March are probably the best months to buy natural gas, to maybe possibly get a pop into April or into August. Maybe leaning, if you're a swing trader, maybe April and let it sizzle down and maybe get in maybe in June, July and right into August. I don't know, just speculating. But if you were to get a discount, this is probably the month in December where you could probably, depending on your risk tolerance, where you probably want to start nibbling, not going gung ho and buying a big, 100 contracts, just, something small, depending what you want to do, ETFs or stocks or whatever. But start dipping your toes around these months. And just remember that these are the months where you want to unload or get close to start taking profits. All right, let's go 10 years. So you can see August, strong, April, strong, October, November, flat, and December, always weak. So this is reflecting what's happening right now in December. Very weak. And if it's going to continue weak to sideways, February and March are good months to maybe start dipping your toes. All right, let's go to 15 years. The data is still showing, and now the data is showing a little more. Because now the data is showing you, October, what was our high? 360, 363, October 27th, 28th, 31st high. And then from here, it just started dwindling down. This is what just actually happened in these last couple of months. This play right here using the 15. You can see that August is strong, but normally you see that August is normally higher. So yeah, you got that high of August 23rd, $10.22. And then it kind of went, and then here was the trap to get whoever they can and then slam it down. And you can see that January, February, but we know February is a little weaker and March is also a little weaker using the shorter time frame. And then April is strong. But we know that since we got that high, April was an inverse. So it was like the weakest. It was actually the low. So it was inverted. And then the last one would be the 20-year. Ironically, October was the strongest month. So it makes sense that they were grinding it from April, and somewhere around October 27, 28, 31st, pull the carpet and get everybody. And this price action is making sense. Just right now, what's happening right now, this is all playing out. And then you see that January, February, very weak. And then March starts getting stronger. And April gets a nice little bump. So we know April gets a nice bump. Is it going to be an inverse? It could be an inverse. But the data in reality is just saying that April is strong. And October is strong. But when you get closer to 5 years, you see that August is the strongest. And that's reflecting that August 23rd high. So what the seasonality is telling us that if you want to, bottom feed and get, discount, but there's a risk involved, you could be nibbling in December because its prices are weak. Discount prices to get in would be February and March. For potential, using probability, a swing for higher prices into April or somewhere around this ballpark. And then once you get, higher prices, lock in some profit, kind of wait on the sidelines, and maybe June, July for another leg higher, maybe probability for August, to get another, either pop or October. And then this thing repeats again and it sells off. So that's kind of like what I'm seeing just using the seasonality. Is it going to play out exactly like that? No, we don't know. We're dealing with probability. So we're just trying to see what has happened and see if maybe that could kind of rhyme in the future. Hey guys, so this is a weekly chart that I have, and you guys already know, using data from 2001 to current prices here. And I want to show you some scenarios here that I'm realizing. I have been using the 142 cycle, which is this one. And this one bottomed out somewhere around, I guess, July the 10th, around there. And this cycle is up to October 14 of 2024. You can see that we just kind of went grinding higher to here and now just kind of stalling. This cycle has a Bartel of 91.70, so it's pretty strong. It's one of the strongest, but there is another one that's even stronger than this one, which is the 228. And this one has a Bartel of 95.20, and that's this cycle. And this cycle hasn't really bottomed out yet until somewhere around May of 2024. So this is on the weekly chart. And in regards to Bartel, these are the two highest ones. The 142, which I've normally been using, which is a cycle up. And now I'm watching the 228, just in case the bottom is still not in yet. It can still go sideways and somewhere from here, then start going higher. Because the reality is the 142 hasn't been really panning out unless this is a 1, 2, and then we're going to do a 3. That's unknown. We don't know that yet. Maybe he wants to go and test that 194, and maybe have a fail new low and then start following this cycle. I don't know, just speculation. But just in case this cycle is not the one, but the one we should be watching is this one. It's something you want to, put some notes, mental notes, or, put something on your sticky pad or on your chart. Watch out for May of 2024. Not that is going to go exactly here and then bottom out. Sometimes it does it early and it goes, and sometimes it does it after and it goes. So I've seen all three scenarios. But just know that it's bottoming out here on the bigger time frame, and it's something you should at least be aware of. And I am making notes on this. So I'm watching two cycles, the 228 and the 142. Okay, so this is the daily chart, and I'm using data from like 2017 to current prices. And there's a few things here that I'm paying attention to also. One, on the daily, the cycle I've been using has been the 255. Let me see if I kind of sort this out here. The 255 is pretty strong, is 97.67 in regards to the Bartel. And you can see using the cycle how it's performed in the past. But the important thing is just what's going on in the future. So you got this high here, got this low here. We peaked here somewhere around August the 30th, and you can see that price action just was going sideways, and you got this explosion into the last week of October, and then has been downhill. Now this daily cycle, the 255, 155, bottoms out somewhere around February. Oh, remember February in regards to seasonality? Did that ring a bell? Did it? It did to me. February, March, very weak. April, strong. Remember April? Remember August? You remember that early in the video? If you forgot, I know we all have short memory. I especially do. That's why I have to keep, researching and chisel my brain to stay sharp. The older I get, I feel like the more I'm forgetting things. But I digress. So February, interesting. The spectrum cycle analyzed on the daily is picking up, a swing low. We know February, March are weak, right into April, and then it kind of pulls back sideways, and then August again. So keep, and this is probably going to fluctuate, but keep February, between February and March on your radar for maybe a possible, sideways grind, capitulation, and then shoot up. I don't know, probability, maybe test the new low, the low here. And if it holds or capitulate, maybe shoot up. Just my observation. And then there's also another cycle that I'm watching, and it's even bigger than this, but it's not as strong as the 255, which is the 337. Now this one, if we were to take it literally here, this one just peaked somewhere around, I guess, November. And this cycle goes down into May. So we had a weekly cycle that I showed you on the last clip where things kind of bottom out here on the weekly. And this is kind of in sync with the daily. So we have to pay close attention to this. Just in case that weekly cycle that bottoms out here could probably play out. Maybe we could just kind of go sideways, a lot of head fakes, and somewhere from here just go up, and just me speculating. Or maybe, February, do a low, go high, kind of go down, and then maybe do that. So we'll see. I just wanted to show you my two observations in regards to the daily cycles. One is the 337, which is this one right here, bottoming out somewhere in May, and also the current one that I'm watching for February, March, possible lows if it plays out. Okay, so this is the commitments of traders report, and I just wanted to show you some things in hindsight. We know around February, large speculators started accumulating, as a slow grind higher. And somewhere around October 9th and October 30th, things, changed in regards to price action. April, between February and April, it was just a slow grind to October, whatever is the 30th, and then this big pullback. As you can see, October 9th, between large speculators and commercial, they just halted right there. And kind of went sideways. Commercial, large speculators kind of sold a little more, from 50 to 57, minus 57, because they're selling. And then they made a low around minus 70. And large speculators made a high. Then kind of pulled back. Didn't take out that high. They were at 51. Here they were at 50. And once November 13th kicked in, they reveal that commercial were now accumulating, which they are hedging now, because now natural gas is going down. And as of now, they made a high on November 20th, which is 96,557, but have not taken it out yet. They haven't pushed another leg higher. The large speculators are doing the same. Kind of what I call FNL. You see in my Twitter, sometimes I abbreviate it like that, FNL. It's a failed new high. So we really didn't take out that high. So when you see that, sometimes there's an indication, and I'm going to stress sometimes, that chances are there's a reversal on its way. Sometimes it could just be chopped and then they push it up later. But when you make a high and you retrace and try to attempt to take that high out and fail new high, sometimes it just reverses. So right now we are on a standstill between November 20th, between large speculators not pushing lower and commercial not pushing higher. What do we know from seasonality? That October gets very toppy and November and December get weak. And you can see that kind of showing up is very kind of, what's the word I'm trying to get? They're not trying to reveal their hand, but you could kind of tell it in where they're putting their money. The key was once you took out this November 23rd high or low, either from commercial or large speculators, once the 13th came in, it just showed that they were going opposite directions. So while natural gas was selling, commercial was hedging, reality buying, and large speculators were selling. So this is the last video clip of maybe this could be a part one. I'm not too sure yet, but I wanted to show you the simple glance chart, which is composed of the monthly, weekly, and daily. And you can see that we haven't had a crossover on the MACD on the monthly, but we are breaking the mobile band, so that's why you're getting this yellow arrow. And you can see that the month of December is very negative, which reflects what seasonality has been confirming. That November, October gets very toppy, and then November is kind of flat to down into December. And this is actually what's playing out. On the weekly chart, we got a PPS sell signal that kicked in on November the 6th that week. And you are below the 20, the 50, 200, the 100, and you're kissing the linear regression channel. Even, I believe, even pierced it. You're kind of hovering around. That was it, like 223. Yeah, so you went even extended over it. So you may ask yourself, well, is this a good opportunity to at least nibble in? It all depends. Because you know that December is weak. And then January and February are kind of flat. And then March is weak. Actually, January is kind of flat. February and March are very weak with December. So there could be more downside. How much more? I don't know, but it's just something you need to think about also. You don't want to catch a falling knife. But if you think that maybe from here, maybe this winter is going to be super cold, I don't know. Whatever catalyst you think that maybe around or here could be a turning point to the upside. Because, price action is always oscillating back and forth, in my mind and from my research. These are kind of the best areas to get in when they're extreme like that. And when it's even further, even better. And you also got a TD 13 kicking in this week right here. Which is that green arrow. You got value area low around 212. So there's a lot of value here. A lot of bottom feeders, discount buyers want to get in. The problem is that could it go sideways to lower into February or March, and then maybe bump up, maybe for a possible rally into April? And also in regards to the cycles, May is a bottoming point within the weekly and the daily. Something is as a cluster there on May. So something to think about too. So I'm kind of just throwing, scenarios out at you and things that I'm seeing in the data that it's not clear yet. I can't put a finger on it, but I'm just kind of seeing what the data is showing and trying to put the puzzles together. And this is especially for hardcore, natural gas traders. I don't know about all the fundamentals and, storage and, those are other numbers. Those are other things you can look at. I'm just doing, more of the techniques that I use in regards to cycle and Gann and theory like that. So, and some technical. So, it's interesting where we're at right now. A nice little sell off. The MACD has now turned negative. So, which is a good thing. The only thing is that it's kind of just hovering around the zero line. You want to get a nice little discount, let this thing dig a little deeper, and then wait for a crossover like that. That way you could really be confirming that, if it happens in February, March, where it does that, and then you kind of get a crossover here, that could be even more interesting for me, because now the weekly is now exhausted and now it's starting to turn up. That's just my observations. You can see the volume for the December. The highest has been in regards to all since, I guess, this whole year. The selling is pretty strong. So that's an observation there showing that December is always weak. So in theory and in hindsight, always when we get into somewhere around October, November, just stay cautious if we're on higher prices. There's a possibility that they could turn it on you and pull the carpet. The daily, you can see sentiment has been dwindling. I'm using a 3 months here, value low. So we're below all the moving averages. Linear regression channels pointing down. We're below the cloud. So once you crack the cloud, and we close the cloud somewhere around the mid of November, it has been downhill from there. And so far we're holding at 223. Let's go into our midpoint chart and see where we could get there. Yeah, so it went as high as 363 and got this massive correction. So got all these profits here. Can it test this 194? Very possible. Interesting enough, that low of 194, if you go, I don't know, do I have that here in my charts? Let's see. Scoring the range, price, and time. Okay, let's see if we can open this up. Somewhere around here, this low of 194 to this date, which is somewhere around 1026, we got 194 days. So in regards to Gann's theory, price and time collided like a meteor, like Thor with his hammer smashing, the ground or an object. They just collided right there. And right there on that day, you got this massive explosion up and made the high on the 27th, kind of sideways here, maybe even the 31st, and then from there, just dwindle. Kind of making it look like a climactic ending from 194 to 194 days. Sometimes I've seen it where it's just grinding, and right here it just turns and goes down. This was interesting. This one just kind of pulled back and then really exploded, kind of more like a trap, and got everybody buying and going along. And then from there they pulled the rug. So it looks like in Gann's theory, a lot of things could always culminate. It's just kind of hard to decipher and trying to put the puzzles together. But from my observations and learning here, it's always to keep in tune from the low, the last low, and just keep that on your radar in regards to time, which I did. And as you can see in hindsight, look what happened. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't like we picked a high, but we were close. A couple of days off. You got to give me that. We didn't get the high, but we were a couple of days off where there's a turning point to be very cautious. You're like, there's something cooking here. And look how low we went. Very close to our lows again. And the same thing applies to that high of August 23rd, that 10:02. I've been tracking that also. And in Gann's theory, you got to track it with the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the hourly. So there's a lot of things in the Gann world that you got to keep an eye on, not just a moving average and Fibonacci levels. It gets very complicated if you want to beat the computers and traders and the sharks and the institutions. But I digress. This is the 194. We're here. Let's order resistance. Yeah, we're kind of like in this area right here. There's a lot of support here. I think my Gann grid. This is from the high. This is from the low. I did it from this 3 point, which I believe in the power of 3. And you can see that there's nothing here. This angle, which is the 1x1, scoring it out from a 25% extension. You can see that from here. We bounced here. We bounced again, failed, and then really went hard. And now we're at the 50% from this ABC impulse range. And we're finding it support right here at 231. Kind of pierce this angle. So that's where we're at here. Let's look at what's going on here in the monthly. So this is the monthly pivots I have, and you can see that we're finding support at the last one, which is 225, and it's got a nice little bounce. If a 246 could hold, it could probably test 270. But if that doesn't hold, it could probably be in between this range of 226 all the way to 270. We're far away from 315, so that's why it's a negative. And on the weekly, we just kept finding support at the purple, which is the last pivot, and then kind of bouncing, but then pulling back. So if this week coming up, we crack 239, chances are we're going to kiss 223, 215, and that last one would be the 208. So if there's more downside, you're planning to go short, that would probably be my target for next week, 208, and lock it in. As you can see, it gets a pop, and it always kisses the purple within the week. So right here, you would have been out. You go short, get out. Let it go out. You go short here and get out. What you got would have gone out here. Rally here, and if it's going to play out again next week, go short and get out at 208. And it might just fluctuate somewhere around here. And 246 is your midpoint for Monday's opening only. What else can I say? I think that's it. I give you a lot of information to digest. This doesn't even include the geometry on the scale chart. One Gann's technique of always looking at the angles and squaring using the Gann grid and using a scale chart. That doesn't even, so I'm debating doing a part 2. If you guys really want to see the part 2, kind of see the whole big picture, I haven't even put the square or not because, you know, these videos could get very long. And I know you guys, you know, are short of attention. You guys rather like to watch TikTok videos than this. So and I get it. I understand. But if you want a part 2, I could give you part 2 as long as I get some comments and feedback. If not, I'll just leave it at here. But I just wanted to kind of give you an update on natural gas. And those are my thoughts. Keep an eye out for February, March, and also for May, because there's a cluster going on there regards to cycles. Yeah, we're very overextended, very oversold, but it could kind of be in a rut here between going sideways to lower. On the positive, man, if we get a crazy cold winter and it's just blistering snow everywhere, that could be a catalyst where things could change here. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe you got to look at the weather guys and some other analysts that cover that kind of stuff. But I'm going to leave it here. Hopefully you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on natural gas.